Good morning, this is Jim, 5714 Collector, bringing you another video on Sunday morning. This is part number 26 of the 1972 Topps baseball card set. I can't believe we've done 26 weeks already. And we're going to start this morning with number 357, which is Woody Fryman, and go up to 366. So 10 more cards this morning. And also I want to announce my giveaway again. We'll show the cards after I go through the 72s. I got them over here on the table. And again, we'll run that through August 31st at 11:59. I'll make sure I get all the names. All you need to do, comment one time on the upcoming videos. Be a resident of the 48 lower states, for a better word, I guess. So no Alaska, no Hawaii. And just be a subscriber. So nice and simple. Hope everybody has a great day, and let's get started this morning. I'm going to show some more cards as we go through and continue with the 1972 Topps baseball card set. And again, this morning, like I said, we are starting with Woody Fryman with the Phillies. And we have one Hall of Famer this week, so just so everybody knows. So that's always a cool thing to talk about a Hall of Famer. But there's Mr. Woody Fryman here with the Phillies. There's the back of his card. And Woody had a nice career also. So let's talk about that. He made his major league debut at the age of 26 with the 1966 Pirates on April 15th. That was against the Cardinals, and he pitched 2/3 of an inning. And then 2 days later, he came back in relief against the Cardinals and earned his first major league win. So that's pretty cool. He went 12-9 as a rookie in 1966. And let's see, he had 3 shutouts that year. So pretty successful rookie season for Mr. Fryman. He had a 15 strikeout game while he was pitching for the Phillies against the Phillies on September 1st, 1967. So that's pretty awesome. Let's see, in 1972, he was traded from the Phillies to the Tigers. While pitching for the Tigers that season, he pitched in 16 games. He had 14 starts. He was 10-3 with 6 complete games and 113 2/3 of an inning. So really nice, I'll call it second half of the season with the Tigers. He also won the American League East clinching game for the Tigers. His lifetime record was 141 and 155. He had 68 complete games, 27 shutouts, and 58 saves. So really nice career for Mr. Fryman. And again, I'm going to make sure I point out that I get this information from Baseball Reference. So I go out to baseballreference.com. They have the Society for American Baseball Research. There's a little link there. There's the bullpen. I think it's called Bullpen Review. I look at that. And sometimes I even go out to Wikipedia and find information, because sometimes it's just some of the players that are more obscure, there's not a lot of information. So I go back and do a little more research so I can have something to say about them and all that, and not just go, this guy played for the Cubs, played 2 games. So I try to do a little bit more research, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm keeping all these index cards. So when I get done with this series, I'll show you the pile of index cards I have, because it's been a lot of fun. So the only Hall of Famer we have this morning is number 358, Sparky Anderson here with the Reds. Captain Hook was his nickname, because he was notorious for pulling his starting pitchers. And of course, he had a great bunch of guys in the bullpen there in the 70s. With the Big Red Machine and all that. Their starting staff was good. Their bullpen was better. So there's the back of that. And of course, we'll talk about it real quick. Obviously, he's in the Hall of Fame. I think he managed, I got it written down here, but he managed several years. He's also the first manager to win World Series titles in both leagues. So we'll talk about that. So let's see. Like I said, Hall of Fame manager. He managed the Reds and the Tigers for 26 years. It's a long time to be a manager. He won 2,191 games as a manager. He won 3 World Series back-to-back, 75 and 76 with the Big Red Machine, and also in 1984 with the Tigers. And that year, I think the Tigers won 104 games, if I remember right, and they came out of the gate at 35-5 in their first 40 games. They just blew away the American League East that year. He was hired as the Reds manager in 1970. And he went 102 and 60 that season. And of course, they lost the World Series to the Orioles 4-1. Let's see. 9 seasons with the Reds. He won 4 pennants and 2 World Series. Not bad. So, like I said, he was the first manager ever to win World Series titles in both leagues. And it's been done since by Bruce Bochy, and there's one other manager that's done it, and it's escaping me. It's written down upstairs somewhere, but I know Bochy did it because he did it with the Giants, of course, and the Rangers, and it might have been Tony La Russa. So just don't quote me on the Tony La Russa this morning. So card number 359 is Don Pavlicek, if I'm saying that right. I hope so. I apologize if I'm not. So there's his card right there. And I don't remember him too much, so I had to do some research and all that. But we won't talk about him. He played 12 seasons in the majors. A pretty long career. He hit his first major league home run on July 27th, 1962, and that came as a pinch hitter. In 1966, he had 2 game-winning hits, both in extra innings against the Cubs. That's pretty neat. The first one was on May 14th, a double off Ferguson Jenkins. That's pretty cool. In the 14th inning. The second was on July 19th. It was a home run in the 18th inning, also against Ferguson Jenkins. So pretty cool. He hit 46 career Major League home runs. So fairly successful Major League player, I would say. So card number 360 is Dave Roberts. And there's been a couple of Dave Roberts, of course, that have played in the majors. Of course, Dave Roberts, the other Dave Roberts, is managing the Dodgers at this time. But this is Dave Roberts, the pitcher, here with Houston. And I've said this more than once. I love those Astro hats from the early mid-'70s. They are so cool. If I could find one of them, I'd have to have one. I think they're cool looking. So let's talk about Dave Roberts for a second. So in 1968, he led the International League in wins with 18, and he was named the International League Pitcher of the Year. That's pretty impressive. He made his debut at San Diego in early July of 1969. He lost 3-2, pitching 7 2/3 innings, giving up 1 run. In 1971, he went 14-17 and had an earned run average of 2.10. He finished second in ERA to Tom Seaver. That's pretty impressive. And as a matter of fact, the leader cards, you see him as number 2. So, also on August 11th, 1971, Dave hooked up with Tom Seaver in a classic pitching duel, and Dave won 1-0, a complete game 12-inning shutout against Tom Terrific. That's something that I think is awesome that you can tell your kids and grandkids about and just say, hey, you know what your grandfather did? I beat Tom Seaver in a classic pitching duel. He was 103 and 125 lifetime in 445 appearances, and he also had 20 shutouts. It's a very, very good career. And I love when I can find stuff on Baseball Reference and they talk about these classic pitching duels, because we don't have that these days. The starting pitchers, I was looking on MLB this morning and looking at the box scores, and starting pitcher might go 5-6 innings, maybe. And I'm thinking, baseball has changed so much, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, because now the starting pitchers, oh, wait a minute, we hit 100 pitches, we got to take you out of the ball game, And I know it's money driven because these guys make a lot of money, which, okay, that's cool. But I would love to see starters go 7 and 8 innings like they used to. But I guess those days are gone, aren't they? So there you go. I'll talk about that this morning too. So card number 361 is Mike Andrews here with the White Sox. Of course, he played with the 67 Red Sox, the Impossible Dream Team. And we'll talk about that here in a minute too. And there's the back of Mike's card. We'll put that over there. So he recorded his first major league hit on September 24th, 1966. That was against Fritz Peterson of the New York Yankees. He hit his first home run for the Red Sox on April 25th, 1967, and that came against Pete Rickert, who was pitching for the Senators at that time. Of course, Pete Rickert later played with the Orioles in like 68, 69, 70 time frame. He hit 308, 4 for 13 for the Red Sox in the 67 World Series. And one thing, there was some controversy surrounding Mike Andrews during Game 2 of the 73 World Series when he was playing second base for Oakland. He made 2 errors late in that game that cost the A's the game. And Charlie Finley, who was the owner of the A's at the time, asked Mike to sign a document stating that he had a chronic sore shoulder because they wanted to put him on the IL and bring up Manny Trillo to take his spot on the roster for the rest of the World Series. So he signed the document because he felt pressure from Venley. Long story short, Bowie Kuhn ordered Mike restored prior to Game 4. If you're interested in reading a little bit more about that story, go to Baseball Reference, go to Mike Andrews' page to the SABR link, click on that and check that out. It's a really interesting story in there about that. So just wanted to make sure everybody knows about it and takes a look at it if they want to. I think that's pretty interesting. I do remember that and all that. So here is the Mets team card. And what's cool about it, Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, Koosman, all those guys are in it. And I think Ryan's on the top row on the right-hand side. And his name is mentioned on the back. I think he had the most walks at that point. So in Mets history, in a season. So his name's on the back also. So, Nolan gave up a few walks in his career. We all know that. But it's a cool-looking card. So that's the Mets card. And talk about the 71 Mets we do. Because I do it this way instead of talking about the 72 Mets. I'll talk about the 71 Mets because that's what we're representing, I like to think anyway. So they went 83 and 79. They finished third in the National League East. The team leader in RBIs was Cleon Jones with 69, and he hit 319. So really nice year for him. Tom Seaver was 20 and 10. That's impressive. With a 1.76 ERA. And what's funny, he lost 10 games with an ERA that low. So that tells you he wasn't getting a lot of run support either. So he finished second to Ferguson Jenkins in the Cy Young Award voting. So that's pretty cool. When you get a chance, go and check out Seaver against Jenkins. They both had a WAR of over 10 that season. So they both had great years in 1971. So card number 363. There you go. That's Ron Kemkowski, if I'm saying that right, hopefully. He played 4 seasons with the Yankees. And and Oakland also, from 1969 to 1972. He was 8 and 12 lifetime with 4 saves. He pitched in 45 games with the Yankees in 1970. He went 6 and 7. He had 1 shutout and 1 save, and his ERA was 2.65 and 98.1 innings. So not a bad year. And we got a couple more. We got Johnny Callison here with the Cubs. Very great player in the 60s and certainly with the Phillies. So I just want to show that. The front, cool looking card. There's the back. We'll talk about Johnny. He made his debut with the White Sox in 1958 at the age of 19. He hit .297 and 64 at-bats. From 62 to 65 with the Phillies, Johnny led right fielders in assists with 90. Pretty impressive. That's a lot. He was the 1964 All-Star Game MVP. He hit the game-winning 3-run home run off Dick Raditz to win the game for the National League. He finished second in MVP voting in 1964. He hit 3 or more home runs in a game with the Phillies twice, 4-time All-Star, and 226 lifetime home runs. So pretty cool. Number 365 is Dick Bosman, here with the Rangers. Back of his card. That's pretty cool. So Dick made his debut with the Senators on June 1st, 1966 against the Red Sox. He pitched 7 in the 3rd innings and allowing 3 runs, and he picked up the win, 6-3. So pretty awesome. He went 14 and 5 with the 69 Senators and led the American League in ERA with 2.19 while pitching 193 innings. He also pitched a no-hitter on July 19th, 1974. That came against Oakland. And if you look at the 75 Topps cards, he shares that no-hitter with Steve Busby, Bosman, and Ryan. There's a no-hitter card from 1975. That's pretty cool with those 3 guys. He was 82 and 85 lifetime. He had 10 career shutouts, and he pitched 11 Major League Baseball seasons. So, pretty cool. Our last player for the day in the 72 Topps set, Jimmy Rosero, if I'm saying that right, here with San Francisco. In the back of his card. That's pretty cool. So let's talk about Jimmy. That was his rookie card, by the way. He signed with the Giants as a free agent in 1965. Played 2 seasons, 1971 and 72 with the Giants. He was released by the Giants in 1975. He then signed with the Brewers, and he appeared in 15 games with them in 1976. He hit his only Major League home run that season. So that's it for those 10 for this week. And I will show the cards again here real quick of what we're doing to give away. So we're doing Juan Marichal. Has a 1962 Topps. There's the back of that. Little glare on that, so I apologize. We got a 69 Billy Williams. Again, this will run through August 31st at 11:59 p.m., and I'll get all the names together. So, there's the back of that. And we got a 1986 Donruss Nolan Ryan. I'm working on getting some other cards together. So it'll be these 3 and some surprises. So I'm working on getting some extra cards together. So I'll show the back of that too. So there you go. So that's it for part number 26 of the 72 Topps set. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. We'll come back next Sunday with part number 27. I hope everybody has a great Sunday and a great week. Appreciate you guys all watching and following along. And I will talk to you later this week when I got some stuff from eBay. And also from my friend Brenton. I'll show some of the stuff I picked up from him. Well, anyway, hope everybody has a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.